Welcome, everyone who is listening to the first episode of Popculture Pulpit. My name is Tyler Sanders. I am joined by...
My name's Nick Brock.
And roads, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hey, dude, that's Back to the Future. I know that one.
That is Back to the Future. We're starting this podcast just to talk about nerdy things because
why not?
We like nerdy things, yeah. And we have plenty of opinions, especially the esteemed gentleman on the other side of the table.
I try.
A lot of opinions. And we're just going to talk. We're just going to have a good time and shoot the breeze as on anything we can think of to talk about. But what are my qualifications for talking about all nerdy things?
We have none.
We have no technical, and by technical I mean official credentials for like anything. But I've shot video on an iPhone, so I can have an opinion.
Yeah.
Right? So I am a huge cinephile. I love movies. I love old movies. I love new movies. I love 80s movies especially. That's the Back to the Future quote. My favorite movie is Back to the Future. My favorite trilogy is Back to the Future. Without a doubt. Perfection.
I don't know if it's perfection, but I'll let you believe that.
Well, I'll tell you this. When your grandma shows it to you when you're a 14-year-old boy, shows you the first one, you love it so much, she says, you know there's a second one, right? And I said, what? So we watched it that night as well, and then I said, oh, this is so amazing. It says to be continued. Grandma says, there is a third one, but I'm going to bed.
I'm going to bed.
Then I watched the third one. But I also love TV shows, dabble in comics, but
hey, that's my territory.
That is your territory, and I will not pretend to be an expert because I am not.
Well, I am the kid who decided when he was, I don't know, like 3, when my uncle was like, hey, I'm going to introduce him to comic books. My family literally looked at him and were like, don't do that. He will be a nerd, and if you introduce him to comic books, he will never be able to get a girlfriend. And I was like, yeah, at 3 years old, he introduced me to comic books, and, you know, it's been a tough world out there since, but...
Well, I will say, he might have underestimated the amount of females that are into nerdy things.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But no, he introduced me to comic books, gave me this huge love for him. And, you know, as I wear a Spider-Man t-shirt, growing up, I actually have like the encyclopedias, like the Marvel and DC encyclopedias.
No.
And as a kid, I got them for Christmas. Like one year I got one of them for Christmas, the next year I got the other. And as a kid, I would actually just sit down and read them.
Wow.
Like I would just sit down and read the little picture of the character who showed up in 2 issues, and it was like, wow, this guy's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't really matter anymore because he showed up in 1 issue in the 80s, but
right.
Why not? He matters, and so I literally would just go through and read those front to back. It was a great time.
Wow. You know, my brother had something similar, an encyclopedia of guns that he read on the toilet. And, you know, when he pooped, that's what he read.
That's not as cool.
Not as cool.
But
we will not pretend to be experts, but we will pretend to be knowledgeable.
Hey, I enjoy this stuff. I hear all kinds of stuff all the time, you know. I'll be pulling from everybody ever, I guess.
That's right. That's right.
We've got the internet at our hands.
Yes, we do. But first, Nick, let's play a game.
Okay, what game would you have?
All right, Nicholas, Quickless, let's do this game. We need to look up a movie in a minute. We're going to guess the movie first. So let's shut these so nobody thinks we're cheating.
No cheating.
We need to select one movie, and we need to guess what the difference is in their Rotten Tomatoes score between the critic and the fan.
Ooh, okay.
Any movie.
Okay, I've got to think of something that I don't already know the Rotten Tomatoes score for.
Yeah.
Because that's the hard one.
Let's see. I'm gonna, you know what? Why don't you do your favorite movie?
My favorite movie?
Just to make it like...
Okay.
So I'll do Back to the Future.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to go
I'm going to do Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, okay. I'm feeling it's... Never mind. I won't give... Okay. Do you want to go first? What's your number? What do you think... And here, what do you think the critic score is? What do you think the
critic score? I'm going to
is?
go with 92.
Okay.
Fan score, I'm going to go with 96.
Okay, so 4% difference.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it would be too.
Yeah.
But I actually thought it would be 100% critic and 96%.
I know it's not 100%.
Okay. There's very few of those.
Oh, yeah.
Like Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2.
Paddington.
Really?
Or maybe it's Paddington 2. Paddington 2 is
Are
like...
you serious?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Paddington 2 has like... It had the longest running, like 100% at one point.
That's wild.
And then it just got... I don't know, somebody gave it a bad score. Like it was, but it wasn't like a bad score. It was like a normal score, and it just brought it down 1% or something.
Probably because James Corden voices Paddington Bear.
I didn't know that, but now I'm really never going to watch that movie.
No, he's Peter Rabbit. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so Back to the Future. I think Back to the Future would get an 86 critic and a 93 fan.
Wow.
So what did I say? 86 and 93?
86 and 93.
That's a 7% difference.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look.
Okay.
All right, Back to the Future. Again, it is just absolutely the most golden trilogy ever. No flaws whatsoever. It is the internet is currently thinking.
Wow.
What you got?
Wow. So it's a 97
Critic?
tomato meter,
Yep.
93 audience score.
The 4%? You got it.
No, it was wrong though. I had them at the lower critic score and the higher audience score.
Well, but you still got the percentage right.
Okay.
And that was the game. Is
Oh,
getting the percentage
I thought I
right.
was trying to get both percentages right.
No, you were just trying to guess the difference.
Oh,
That was it.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And you are the winner because
Go.
Back to the Future got a 97 from critics.
Wow.
And a 94 from audiences.
Wow.
So I said 90. I said 93 on. So I underestimated how critics thought.
Dang. Yeah.
Hey, that's good. So the winner for the first game on Pop Culture Pulpit is Nicholas Quickless.
What's up? It's me. I'm back. Also,
And he
Paddington
can
2 is
read.
right here.
Oh no,
99% critic score.
that's crazy.
That's insane. 88% audience score.
All right, when's the third one coming out?
Who's watching Paddington 2?
Who's
somebody.
rating Paddington 2? Right,
Children.
children.
Children are rating Paddington 2. We're probably going to get a lot of backlash for that if people
All
care.
of our audience of children gone. They're just evaporating.
Eliana's never going to listen.
She is never going to listen. For those that
That's
don't
crazy.
know, Eliana's my daughter's name. So
Sorry, didn't mean to throw that out
no,
there.
you're just doxing me live on our first podcast episode. Thank you.
It's tough.
So Nick, what are we talking about today?
We've got a lot to talk about. We've got most anticipated movies, most anticipated games of the year, all kinds of different random stuff happening. Everything from actually, you know what? We'll just get into it.
Yeah,
and
let's do it.
Then we'll jump into the fun stuff.
So we were talking about everything going on in 2023 that we're hype about.
Yeah, honestly. What's your number one anticipated movie? Like, we can do a couple movies, but like, I want to know what your number one is.
Yeah, so I'm going to do 3 and cheat.
You're gonna do, oh, okay.
Okay, so I am highly anticipating Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
So the reason I'm anticipating that is because what everybody is coming out and saying from Marvel about this, saying that, what you guys thought about Phase 4, valid. This is going to change it all. It's going to set us on the direction.
Yeah.
And I really want there to be a direction for Marvel because it's been highly, highly lacking.
Well, something Kevin Feige. I just saw this interview yesterday with Kevin Feige, and it was part of their new quick little. It was a trailer / it was one of those exclusive look kind of things.
Yep.
And Kevin Feige was like, "Yeah, we love the idea of we've used Ant-Man pretty much to start every single like big piece since like kind of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
With level of like he introduces time travel in Endgame.
Right.
He's kind of like the start of I can't remember. I think it's the start of Phase 3.
Yeah.
I think that's right. But like he was mentioning, he's like, oh, we use Ant-Man to start these things. We might as well do it again.
Right.
Might as well be the start of Phase 5.
Yeah.
And so like this level of he's also going to introduce like, why would we not use him? And I mean, at this point, he's one of the more longer running heroes running around.
Still right now, yeah.
Like one of
Like Thor, Hulk.
Yeah,
Doctor
I kind of
Strange
forget.
and
I kind of forget
Ant-Man.
they're still around.
Yeah, it's true.
It's kind of hard to remember.
Well, R.I.P. the Thor franchise.
Well, I got opinions, but I'm not going to share them here.
That is not this episode. My second anticipated movie is another Marvel one because I'm very excited about the third installment of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Nobody knows what the heck's going to happen.
That is actually number 1 on IMDb.
Really?
That is their number 1 anticipated movie of the year.
Interesting. I mean, literally anything can happen. We hear Drax is going to die. We hear Rocket's going to die. Chris Pratt could die.
Maybe they're all... Wait, why? You just went from naming characters to actors. Is there like a...
Peter Quill might die.
Oh, okay.
But then my final movie that I'm very excited for is Oppenheimer.
Dude.
I'm a sucker for historical things, and I'm an even bigger sucker for anything Christopher Nolan.
But the fact that they redid the first explosion, not like actually redid it, but
they just
did
dropped
it with
a
practical
nuke. Yeah,
they just said, you know what, we can't do this with practical effects, so we just got to drop another one.
Right? Yeah.
Why not?
But I was a huge fan of Dunkirk. Great movie.
Did you watch Tenet?
No, I didn't watch Tenet because I didn't actually watch Inception either. I haven't seen
one of the
greatest. It's one of the greatest movies of all time, supposedly. But I felt Tenet was like Inception, and I guess I wouldn't understand.
It was
much
kind of hard
of
to
the
understand.
Psychological bits going on there in the background and the lore, I guess. But they might not even be connected like totally. But it's Christopher Nolan, so
that's valid.
maybe. But yeah, those are my big three that I'm super anticipating. Quick runner-up: Magic Mike's Last Dance. I mean, who wouldn't?
I can see that for you. Like, is Channing Tatum in that one?
Oh, it's Channing Tatum.
Oh,
I believe it's Selma Hayek.
I actually don't know. Oh wait, yes, I do. I do know who that is. Yes.
Yes. I don't know if Selma Hayek is in it actually, but it looks like Selma Hayek. Selma Hayek is old.
Ooh.
She's like 56.
I forgot that was coming out this year.
Magic Mike's Last Dance. I know it's completely
the new
underrated.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
There's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's Mutant Mayhem, and it's Seth Rogen's one.
Oh my gosh.
No, I've heard
it is Selma
Hayek. He's been pretty on top of things because he is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, an actual fan. So he's been actually caring about. So
he cares.
And it's not all a joke. Hopefully.
Which one is he playing?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not going to look too much into it because I'm kind of that's one that I'm like, when we get something, I'm going to be excited, but I'm waiting. There's so much coming out this year.
There is, and not even just in the movie world. But
how was Creed 3 at 43 on IMDb?
I don't know.
I've got it.
What?
Number 1, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
For those that don't know, they are massacring the literary and beauty of Winnie the Pooh by making it a murdering horror slasher
film. I saw
film.
that they shot this in the span of a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I just think it's laughable. I just didn't think that anybody would try it, and they're coming out of left field with it. But I actually that's not my.
But did you hear what? Did you hear what they're doing next? So the same person that's making this, since it's such a highly anticipated film, he is coming out with another.
Is it with Mickey Mouse once he enters the public domain?
It's Peter Pan.
Well, I mean that's been something.
Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
Well, that's something the internet has made theories about, talked about a little bit. Is what if Peter Pan's actually the villain and Hook is a lost boy who grew up and is trying to save the other lost boys?
Yeah.
It's kind of terrifying if you think about it that way.
It is. It is, for sure. And he's also already making a second one.
That's crazy. But my actual number 1 anticipated film of the year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yes. Very, very excited for that, especially because I haven't seen the first one.
And you're an insane person.
I know.
If you haven't seen the first one, folks, literally go out right now, watch it on whatever you can watch it on. I think it's on Apple TV. I think it might be on something else. Literally, I don't care what you got to do. Get your hands on this movie because it is one of the greatest movies you will ever watch.
It is.
It is so inspiring. It is the epitome of a hero coming to terms with the responsibility Like, and that's always a Spider-Man movie, yes. But it's watching Miles Morales actually walk into.
Yes.
Oh, there's so much. I love this movie so much.
And you know what? You're the comic book guy. I get it. But
hey, man.
But no, I've heard from many, many, many people that it's one of the best movies of all time. And it's one of the best comic book movies of all time. Like, for sure, without a doubt, hands down. And the cast.
Oh, the cast is
stellar.
phenomenal. They've got Nicolas Cage.
When you have Nick Cage in a movie, it's a great movie.
You got Nick Cage. Oh, shoot, why can't I think of his name? He's the
Didn't Tobey Maguire reprise his role as well?
Tobey Maguire? No, he's not in it. It's Nick from New Girl.
Oh.
I can't think of his name right now.
Kroll, not Kroll.
No, it's Jake Johnson from New Girl. Phenomenal and then Chris Pine is in it.
Yes,
he's the Spider-Man of Miles Morales' Earth. And the thing is,
Haley Steinfeld
is Spider-Gwen. We've got John Mulaney. That's who I was trying to think of earlier.
Oscar Isaac
is in. Oscar Isaac is in a very small portion, and then is joining the cast for the bigger portion in this next one.
Yes.
The thing is it's a phenomenal movie with a phenomenal cast, but on top of that, they take one of the best comic book runs of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They take so early 2000. We're gonna give a little backstory real quick.
Oh, I'm leaning in.
I know you're leaning back.
No, I'm leaning in. Trust me, I'm leaning in.
Early 2000s, Marvel was like, we gotta figure out our continuity because it's so hard for new readers to jump in.
Yeah.
So they jumped in with the Ultimate Universe. Their Ultimate Universe was going to be an easy jump on point for new readers with familiar characters, but giving new origins a little bit to kind of allow people to get more acquainted with the characters. So you've got Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate Avengers, also called the Ultimates. You've got Ultimate Spider-Man, which was really the big jumping on point for a lot of people. And it really forced them to keep Peter in high school for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And the thing was they did this whole series, and it got to the point where they were like, we've progressed Spider-Man. We've let him do things, let him actually grow. And then they were like, what if we make a new character? And you've got people having this conversation of how do we make a new character? How do we kind of do this? And you've got a new Spider-Man movie coming out in 2010 with Amazing Spider-Man, or 2011, something like that.
Figure out.
A lot going on. And at the same time, you've got the Marvel Universe starting in 2008. You've got all these different things happening.
Yep.
And they actually kill off Peter Parker.
Interesting.
They kill off Peter Parker.
This is not the superior Spider-Man
No.
storyline,
That's
right?
a phenomenal storyline in general. But in this continuity, they kill off Peter Parker as he sacrifices himself against the Sinister Six, is fighting Norman Osborn in front of his house. Aunt May comes out. MJ, Gwen Stacy, they all come out, and they're watching him literally put his life on the line. The Human Torch comes out and is fighting with him. Human Torch gets thrown aside. Peter literally just puts his life down on the line, dies fighting the Green Goblin.
Wow.
And in the final panel, he's walking, and you see him as a little kid and Uncle Ben walking alongside him into the light.
That's cool.
But then they released Ultimate Spider-Man with Miles Morales, later on.
Yeah.
I don't remember how later. It's not much though. And you get to see this entire fight from Miles Morales' point of view. And Miles Morales has this survivor's guilt because the entire time Peter Parker is he's seeing Peter Parker fight the Green Goblin. He's sitting there saying, I should be doing something, but I don't have the strength to do it.
Wow.
I don't have the bravery to do it. And you watch him have this survivor's guilt and wrestle with, how do I be Spider-Man? And this movie does a phenomenal job of doing that without having to set you up with, you already know who Peter Parker is.
Mm-hmm.
They give you that. They introduce you to Miles Morales, and they put you in the position of watching him figure out, how do I deal with survivor's guilt?
Yeah.
And in the final moments of Peter's life, Peter hands him this they call it a goober. It's really funny. It's a little USB drive. And he's like, you got to stop this thing. Because Kingpin is trying to open a wormhole. It's a whole thing. But he's like, you got to stop this thing for me. And Miles Morales runs off and watches Peter Parker die by Kingpin's hand.
Dang.
It's insane. It's one of the greatest films, I think, of the last 20 years.
Whoa.
I think it's just a phenomenal movie. It tells a very emotional story of how do you grow into being a hero.
Yeah.
And it's also Stanley has his phenomenal cameo, as he always does.
Right.
But on top of that, it was, and oh my gosh, dude,
And
the soundtrack.
The soundtrack, Post Malone.
It has so much good music.
Everyone is in it too. It is a star-studded cast.
Oh, it really is.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, you really do. But that's my go-to most anticipated movie is
the second one,
Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and it's gonna be phenomenal.
All right.
We also have Spectacular Spider-Man returning in that movie, so
Hey,
Hey,
maybe Superior Spider-Man will show himself. Little Doc.
Yeah, you got Spectacular Spider-Man, Insomniac Spider-Man. You've got Spider-Man Unlimited from the early 2000s cartoon. You got all kinds of guys.
Did
coming
you
in
hear that Nicolas Cage is not reprising his role?
That makes sense.
Or somebody is not reprising.
I haven't seen him in any of the trailers, and I mean, there's a point where you got to start saying like, these guys are amazing, and we'd love to have them return, but also, how much can we really fit into this movie?
And they cost money.
Because
they know this movie's going to make $1 billion.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Of course.
Because Into the Spider-Verse made on a budget of $90 million.
Which is insane.
Yeah. They made $384 million.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's not as big as I thought as far as box office, but this next one,
oh, it's gonna blow up. I watched Into the Spider-Verse 3 times in theaters. No, 4 times in theaters.
Really?
Yes.
It also came out in 2018. It's been 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Well, it took them 3 years, I think, to make the first one.
Really?
Because it took them like a week for every minute of the movie or something like that.
Whoa.
It was because the animation style just takes so much to do.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Anyways, that's my rant about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse coming out in 2023. My most anticipated movie, even though there are a billion other movies coming out that like are.
We are not sponsored by DC Comics, but
that's Marvel. But you're good to go.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying we're not sponsored by DC Comics or Marvel Comics.
We're not sponsored by any comic company. I am wearing a Spider-Man shirt, but you know what? We're not sponsored by anybody. I will tell you to go see these movies no matter what, because in order to form your own opinion, you got to watch the movie.
Well, let's talk about this. Are you a fan of the Indiana Jones franchise?
Dude, I was just going to mention that. Okay. Indiana Jones 5 is coming out.
It is. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I'm curious.
That is exactly my feelings as well. I'm very curious to see what they do, because Shia LaBeouf is not returning. Nope. Well, Shia LaBeouf being Indiana Jones' son from the 4th movie, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I remember when that movie was coming out, and at that time we still looked at movie times in the paper. And so like I sound like such an old person there, but like I remember in the newspaper going and looking at and it was like the second page, you looked it up and it was like each movie on a little square and it gave you the times.
Good grief, I've never done that. I've never done that in my life.
I know, I'm old, but we would go in and we looking at it, and I remember like the movie, my parents had talked about it, and it was like coming out. It was one of the movies that they were like, midnight release, Indiana Jones 4, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Let's be honest. I want the midnight release to come back.
Nah, dude, we gotta go see it at 7:30 now.
No, I want the true midnight release back.
I mean, I would go to it, but at this point, there are stores that don't even stay open past midnight.
It's true.
We don't have 24-hour stores really anymore.
Well, and the movie theaters have always are struggling post-COVID to get people in the door, so I get that.
Plus, we get $6 tickets here in Marion, so...
This is true.
I feel like it's not worth it.
It's true. Anyway, continue on.
But no, I was just saying, like, I remember my parents being like, this movie's going to be great. And I was like, yeah, it's Indiana Jones. It's going to be great. You guys are excited about it. I'm going to be excited about it too. And then I don't think we went and saw it at midnight. It was very sad.
Very sad. Because I will say Kingdom of the Crystal Skull warmed up over the years. Wasn't a fan when it first came out. Because I really do love the original trilogy. Yeah. Last Crusade stands the test of time. It's just one of the most dearly beloved.
Them.
Yes. I'm not a fan of Temple of Doom, but I also recently learned Temple of Doom is actually the prequel to the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
Even though Raiders came out first.
Yeah.
Had no idea of that. But did you hear what the reason why Shia LaBeouf is not in the fifth?
Why is he not in it?
So Shia LaBeouf, when he was departing the production of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is what he said to the Los Angeles Times. I feel like I dropped the ball on the legacy that people loved and cherished. If I was going to do it twice, my career was over. So this was fight or flight for me. The actor's job is to make it come alive and make it work, and I couldn't do it. Okay? So then Harrison Ford responds.
And he doesn't hold back.
Okay.
Dude is honest.
Yes. So this is 2010.
Oh, okay.
This is shortly after. What did Harrison Ford say in response? He's saying this in a recent interview of what he said back then. Okay.
Okay.
So Shia LaBeouf said this a long time ago. This is Harrison Ford's response that he just is making public. He said, I think I told him he was an effing idiot. As an actor, I think it's my obligation to support the film without making a complete ASS of myself. Shia is ambitious, attentive, and talented, and he's learning how to deal with a situation which is very unique and difficult. But from my understanding, that's the reason he's not on fifth movie.
Also, you got to remember, like, Harrison Ford, like, Indiana Jones is his baby.
Yeah.
Oh, like you got to, like, those are... Han Solo is the character that he wanted to die.
Right. I heard when they were promoting... what's the most recent Star Wars thing that Harrison Ford would have been promoting?
Rise of Skywalker.
No.
Was it The Last
sooner,
Jedi then?
Oh, even sooner than that, like this year.
Oh.
Yeah. So actually, it was probably just San Diego Comic-Con.
Probably.
What was another movie Harrison Ford reprised a role in?
Blade Runner,
yeah. There's something else that he was...
Let's see.
It was a Lucasfilm production. It was probably something. But there's a story of Kathleen Kelly basically said to everyone, we are keeping Harrison Ford to do Indiana Jones promotion. And Harrison Ford was like, abso-freaking-lutely. Because it is his favorite, like
That's
you
funny.
said.
Yeah. Well, and he always talked about, he was like, I wanted Han to die in the first in New Hope. And Lucas was like,
that's in the 70s.
Yeah, and Lucas was like, I actually really like this character. Let's not kill him.
Yeah, and I think everybody else is okay with that.
Yeah,
everybody
I'm okay with
Harrison Ford.
It's always just frustrating when Harrison Ford is just like, I hate this. And it's like, dude, like, why can't you just like the character?
This is true, but I have to tell you, one of my favorite moments, ever with Harrison Ford is it doesn't even involve his actual presence. Okay. So on the Graham Norton show, Mark Hamill is telling a story about how the spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't know this, but how Darth Vader is Luke's father. And
he is?
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
I mean, I love Star Wars, but whoa. Yeah, okay.
So on the show, he's describing the amount of people that knew.
Yes.
So only Harrison Ford, the director, George Lucas, and the people that were there recording it knew about it. And of course, James Earl Jones. Anybody who was involved in that scene knew about it.
Except Luke. Didn't Mark Hamill not know?
He didn't know until the time.
Yeah.
But even afterwards, Harrison Ford didn't know. Carrie Fisher didn't know. And they're like this at this point. So on the Graham Norton show, he's describing the reactions of everyone. He's talking about how Carrie Fisher can't keep a secret, and he makes jokes about it. Go look this clip up. It's hilarious.
I think I've seen the clip.
But Mark Hamill does an impression of Harrison Ford. He said Harrison Ford had the most aggressive response to him. As soon as they're at the screening of the movie watching it at the premiere, and Harrison Ford turns to Mark Hamill and says, "You didn't effing tell me, kid." And Mark Hamill does the best impression of Harrison Ford. But that's one of my favorite Harrison Ford moments.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, man. But Indiana Jones, highly anticipated.
That'll be a good one.
But like you said, I believe you said curious.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Curious.
It's not something I'm like, let's go see what happens, because at this point, it's hard to... It's hard to recapture that kind of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And to do it well when you've got a character who... when you've got an actor as old as Harrison Ford. Like, nothing against him.
80.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Don't even get me started on his age. I'm kind of angry that Marvel's casted him in a role
as
because...
Thaddeus Thunderbolt. What's the last name?
Ross.
That's it.
Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And my frustration is that... I can't think. It's Hurt. His last name's Hurt, but
The guy who died.
Yeah, he passed away.
John? Isn't it just John Hurt?
I can't think of his name. No, John Hurt is the guy from Harry Potter. He was also the Doctor, and he was a bunch of people. Thaddeus Ross.
Played by... Dun, 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 dun. Who's going to get it first? William Hurt.
Yes, William Hurt. Okay. I just kept wanting to tell me it was Harrison Ford, and I was like, that's not right. But it's the fact that you've got an actor who passes away in the role.
Yep.
And then you take an actor who is already old.
Yep.
And say, yeah, let's put another actor that is possibly able to pass away in the role.
Just throw a mustache on him, and he's good.
The dude can't do stunts anymore.
He's going to be Red Hulk, and he's going to do all his own stunts.
No, he can't. That's my frustration.
That is very frustrating. I have a controversial take on a Marvel recasting. I think they should have recast Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. Personal opinion, I think the direction of Black Panther, just the idea and the essential role that Black Panther was supposed to play in the MCU, you needed a recasting. Honor Chadwick to the nth degree, but we really need to recast him.
Yeah, and I'm curious. Like, it's one of those things where I think that could have gone really, really well. It's very possible.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like it's a bad idea. I'm curious because it's one of those roles where he, in order to be,
we're talking about Indiana Jones again, right?
No, I'm about Black Panther.
Oh, Chadwick.
I was going back to what you were saying.
Okay.
With Black Panther, a lot of people are saying like, dude, you watch Batman get recast 8 times in 40 years. And I'm like, you know what? That's a really good point. And it's not that in recasting or doing anything like that, you're dishonoring that person who last played them. The only problem is that like it's a hard situation to kind of navigate because none of those actors passed away while playing Batman.
For sure. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like you can say, hey, let's recast him because 1 billion people play Batman, 1 billion people play Superman. It's like it's a symbolic role.
But even with those, they're always different universes.
Yeah.
Except for the Val Kilmer and the Michael Keaton, the Tim Burton Batman, and George Clooney, I believe, was also in the Tim Burton.
Yes, he was. Bat Nipples.
Bat Nibbles.
But it's the point of like I can understand both sides of that argument.
Yeah.
And I can understand if somebody was like, I really think like I understand your point of view of saying I really think he needed to be recast because it is a role that is inspiring to people.
It is.
And for us to be like, yeah, the only person who's ever going to play Black Panther or play T'Challa is Chadwick Boseman is kind of like, that's almost a disservice to Chadwick Boseman and a disservice to the character because you're saying this character can only exist in this spot right here in time. But
the mantle of the superhero is always bigger than one person.
Exactly, but not dishonoring Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
no one has ever said
exactly.
That,
But that's I think the hard line to walk of like how do we do this and how do we do this well?
True. Without
people just accusing us, because I think either way, Marvel was going to get criticism.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, how did they do that and how did they do it well? And anyways, but yeah, no,
I do
agree.
think they would have turned out a better product of a movie because Black Panther 2 was great. I think it got a Best Picture nomination.
I don't know.
At the Oscars.
I think you're right, but I can't remember.
But at the very least, the lady who plays Queen.
Oh yes, Queen Ramonda.
Rwanda. Yeah. The lady who plays her is up for Best Supporting Actress, and that is the first Marvel Oscar nomination for an actual individual.
Was phenomenal. I was sitting there sobbing.
Oh yeah, just all of the range of emotion and who she needed to be and what she needed to do, and the fear when
oh my gosh,
Namor is talking to her on the beach. Just that fear that's getting instilled in her while still projecting confidence that she's gonna wipe the floor with him. But anyway, Indiana Jones. It is a curious film, going all the way back to Indiana Jones.
Oh my gosh, we're just all over the place.
Yeah, we are. But, okay, so movies.
Yeah.
We've covered the movies.
Covered some movies, yeah.
Let's talk about some video games. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So, my system, I play Xbox exclusively.
Crazy man.
I know. I am one of the minority group of people that actually enjoys Xbox as a platform.
I actually think that's the majority group.
Really?
Yes, I will say
Because
most people.
PS3, PS2, 3, and 4, it's Sony dominated.
I see. That's the thing is when I was growing up, at least like during all of those.
Yeah.
Like all my friends had Xboxes.
Seriously.
I only had a PS3 because my uncle one year for Christmas, he found some amazing deal. Same uncle who got me into video, like into comic books and stuff.
Good man.
Amazing man, love him to death. He found some amazing deal, and he got us a PlayStation 3, my grandparents a PlayStation 3, himself a PlayStation 3, us a Wii, and himself a Wii.
It sounds like he had the 5-finger discount.
I don't know. I guess. Yeah. No. He's one of the kindest people I've ever met. But it was crazy. But he got it for us that year.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason we had a PlayStation 3. It was the only reason we had a Wii. And I just kind of stuck with PlayStation because of that.
That's interesting.
But all of my friends had Xboxes.
Because the number one selling console, I believe still to this day, is the PS2.
Well, that makes sense because the PS2 had Battlefront 2.
Yes, we all bow down to the original Battlefront 2.
Dude.
And the new Battlefronts, completely different podcast,
That was
all in and
oh
of
my
itself.
Gosh. First game I got with my PS4.
And yeah, I mean, to this day, it is one of the most nostalgic games for me to play, and I play it on Xbox still because they have it backwards compatible on the Xbox store. But PS2 dominated. PS3, I do think actually did lose to the Xbox 360.
I think
the 360 was kind of everywhere.
Gosh.
But the Xbox One definitely lost out to the PS4.
Well, hey, and you got to remember, 360 released with Halo 3.
There was definitely
literally one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, but I know there was problems with the Xbox One's launch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of criticism about they weren't going to be backwards compatible. There wasn't going to be a disc drive.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't going to be able to borrow your friend's game. Nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they backtracked on all of it because it was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Even though now it's pretty much what's happening.
I mean, they have game share though.
Yes, they definitely decided the community was more important than their bottom line because the community is going to grow.
But on top of that,
increase the bottom line.
Microsoft was able to buy Bethesda.
If it goes through all the way. Oh, no, Bethesda went through all the way.
Yeah, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very upset if if the new Elder Scrolls game
is exclusive.
If it's an exclusive, I'm going to throw hands.
Okay, but Spider-Man's an exclusive to Sony, and everybody's upset about that.
Sony's owned Spider-Man for the last 20 years.
Understood. But the Marvel Avengers video game
is terrible.
Okay, opinions aside. The Spider-Man expansion for that game is great.
Yeah.
In comparison, you didn't know this?
Wait.
You didn't know
Continue. No. I know. I want you to continue with that. I don't mean to interrupt.
So the Spider-Man extension for the Marvel Avengers game is incredible.
Yeah.
No, it's not?
No, it's not.
You played it.
I don't want to play it because it looks that bad.
It doesn't look bad to me.
Dude.
At least the Marvel Avengers
Here, I'll let
game...
you borrow my PlayStation 4 and you can play Spider-Man PS4 and then get back to me.
Okay. The game dedicated to Spider-Man is better than this extension. But what I'm trying to say is this extension, Marvel Avengers just recently announced that they are no longer going to do updates.
Yeah.
And they are sticking to their stance that Spider-Man is staying a PS4 exclusive, right?
Yeah.
So, but Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. Get that. Uncharted. There are plenty of exclusives.
But Halo
is the one exclusive on Xbox. The one.
Now I'm looking up Xbox exclusives.
No. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it's the only good exclusive that Xbox has ever repeatedly made. But even up until recently, the PlayStation always gets priority with Call of Duty. And,
I did know that.
And Microsoft is buying Activision, and that's the deal that's kind of like, the government's kind of like, we'll see. We're going to feel this one out. But there are other Xbox exclusives like Cuphead's great one-off game, though.
Is on a Switch. Yeah.
It was exclusive to Xbox for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's on Switch now too.
I think it was exclusive to Xbox.
Because Sea of Thieves is an Xbox
yes,
exclusive. I didn't know
that's the one that's...
Oh, Gears of War is also a Xbox exclusive.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, I will say, I'm gonna be personally honest though. PlayStation has the better exclusives in general.
It did come to it came to PS4 3 years later. Cupheads. So it was an exclusive for 3 years.
Yeah, I'm just like my thing is that those have been games that in series like everything Bethesda does.
Yeah.
Like Fallout, Elder Scrolls.
It was always for everything.
It was always for everything, and to turn around and just be like, well, we bought this and now it's an exclusive. I understand the point, but also, it's just frustrating.
But then what did Sony do? What did Sony buy?
Sony bought Spider-Man when Marvel was going bankrupt.
No. What did Sony buy? Do you know this?
I actually don't. Oh, they bought Activision, like you said. But no, what did they buy?
They bought Bungie.
Oh shoot, I forgot they did.
Do you know what
that.
Bungie is? The studio that made Halo.
Oh shoot.
But Halo wasn't a part of the acquisition.
Yeah, well, no, but like, who was the company who made Halo after Bungie?
I think it's... Oh, I don't know.
No, because they changed. Because that was the big thing with Halo 5, was a different company was making
What is the most recent Halo? Is it Halo Infinite?
No.
2021.
Oh.
It's Xbox Game Studios. So it's developed by 343 Industries. Yeah. Made through...
Yeah.
Yes.
So...
They
developers. That's what we got to be looking at.
They did co-develop Halo Reach.
Dude, best Halo game.
With Bungie.
343 Industries was the only one who did Halo 5.
Which is Halo...
it's just... Oh, it's Halo Guardians is what it's called.
Halo Guardians, okay, yeah.
But that's the thing is, like, so when I think it was... Did Halo 4 2 also... Was that also 343?
No, Halo 4 was...
Yeah, it was 343. It was Rockstar, 343, and...
Bungie.
No, Certain Affinity and Splash Damage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Bungie hasn't done Halo in a long time.
No, but
I didn't know that.
That's when all the games fell off. When they started being terrible. I think Reach was the last Bungie Halo game.
Yeah, because Halo 4, Halo 5, and then Halo Infinite.
Yeah, developer
Those are the
Bungie. Halo Reach was a phenomenal game. Oh my gosh, the story's phenomenal.
Yeah, Halo has always been a great game, I've thought.
Oh, yeah.
But I say all this to go back to the original point, to digress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an Xbox guy. You're a PS guy. Yep.
So I'll be getting that PS5 sometime soon.
You know, okay, there are a lot of things coming out about it that are like bad that you need to look at before you...
Hey, man,
No. I'm just saying.
I know.
Just the hardware. Just take care of your hardware. That's all I'm saying. But I have two games most anticipated for me. Okay. So, and I know you're going to agree with one of them. I don't know if you're going to agree with the other as your most anticipated game. But the first one is, of course, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is something, everybody that you're listening, I loved Star Wars, and I use it with a D. I loved Star Wars until I saw The Last Jedi. I am what the internet and some people would call a toxic fan because I didn't like The Last Jedi.
I wouldn't call you toxic.
See, but a lot of people would.
No. I just think that, like...
You're a good guy, Nick, though. You wouldn't call me toxic, but under your breath...
I don't think most people would call you toxic, though.
See, but I'm all against it. I'm like all in against it.
And that's okay.
Like, there's no redeeming qualities of The Last Jedi as a Star Wars movie.
It looks pretty.
It would be, and then I posted this on Facebook almost as soon as I saw it because I just wanted to get it out there.
You're like, I got to tell somebody.
I got to tell
I don't have Twitter.
I got to tell somebody. But
we should start a Twitter.
We should start a Twitter. Just tweet out movie quotes and see if people get it. First one to get it wins nothing.
First one to get it wins something, but we're not going to tell you right now.
That's right.
Find out later.
But
merch.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. I said it'd be a good movie, a bad Star Wars movie. That's just how I think of The Last Jedi.
I think a lot of people felt.
So what happened to me after that was I swore off the mouse. I said I'm not going to give another penny to the mouse about anything Star Wars. So I didn't see Rise of Skywalker. I saw it, or I read the synopsis.
Okay, that's valid.
It fell apart.
Best part of the movie was just Ben Solo being a Jedi, and you're just sitting there and you're like, why? How did I miss this? Why is this the part that I'm like, you could have given me 3 movies of Ben Solo.
See, yes. So the Force Awakens, I thought I left the movie. I went to the movie excited. I left the movie with an excitement, but just like this thing in the pit of my stomach, like that wasn't right. That was there, and I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I was willing to go farther. I was not willing to go any farther with the mouse after that. However, there've been it's a renaissance on Disney Plus. The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. Andor,
and folks, this is why he's going to watch the Mandalorian
Kenobi
trailer on this podcast.
I will do it live on this podcast sometime, but
one day.
But I haven't seen any of it except Kenobi. I was willing to watch Kenobi because it was familiar enough to me, and it kind of did touch on some old bits for me. Whereas Mandalorian, I just couldn't invest.
I'm gonna be honest. This is my one thing I'll tell you about the Mandalorian.
Okay.
The Mandalorian, in the first 5 minutes, feels the most like the original movies, like the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Out of anything I've ever watched since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Because
I would say Rogue One. Rogue One.
That's a good point. Yeah. Also Rogue One. But since Rogue One, the Mandalorian, you're sitting there and you just watch the first 5 minutes and you're like, and then the title card hits and you're just sitting there and you're like, I know it's not even done yet, but like, wow.
See, because what I want is Rogue One on TV. Like, I just want it to happen over and over again.
That's kind of what Andor is, too.
That sounds like everything that's happening on Disney Plus, but I haven't seen any of it because of my strict stance. What changed my mind was I very recently played Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay, yeah.
So I played Jedi Fallen Order because it was free through my Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
I was looking for a game to play. I enjoy Star Wars video games, as we've already talked about, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
So good.
I loved the way Cal Kestis gets into the Force upgrading system, the meditation part of it, the Force, like all of it. Even though I didn't know any of the characters except Darth Vader. And, I got the concept of the Inquisitors.
I mean, Cal Kestis really, like, the Inquisitors and Darth Vader were really the only characters that existed before the game.
Right. And so they came up with something that was new in Star Wars. That's hard to do.
It really is.
And
if you're going to make them, if it's going to be something that
unless
involves
your
Jedi.
name is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
That's true.
Right? Those are the only two that can make magic in the Star Wars universe with something new.
Everything they touch turns to gold.
That's right. Even though there's a small toxic group of people that still hate what they're doing. And they are the toxic people, right?
Yeah.
Because they still say, come on, Dave, right? But Jedi Fallen Order, I played it. It has given me the motivation to watch stuff like The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and Andor and all that again. So I say all that to say, one of my highly anticipated video games is the the sequel to Fallen Order.
Well, and I mean, like, it's one of those games that, like, you get to watch Order 66 through the memories of Cal Kestis.
See, wild.
And it's just, you're just sitting there, and one, you feel traumatized.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you watch this child, Padawan, watch his master die.
Yeah.
At the hands of people they fought alongside.
Right.
It's just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Order 66 in itself is just such a tragedy that, like, I have a friend, his name's Zach Netzel. He's going to be on the podcast at some point, folks. Keep your eyes out for him.
That's right. We're going to have guests.
Yeah, we're going to have guests.
It's
It's going to be a
talking.
blast.
Yeah.
So don't worry. You don't have to just deal with us. We got a lineup of people who are invested in a number of different areas of pop culture that we would love for you guys to meet, love for you guys to hear some stuff from. But my friend Zach, literally one of the biggest Star Wars nerds, biggest Star Wars people I've ever met. He got to guest appear on another podcast with some Star Wars guys, and he's
one of the foremost people on Star Wars.
I would say so.
Like amateur people on Star Wars.
I would say so.
Yeah.
But he's a phenomenal dude. But he got, oh shoot, where was I going with this? It was this level I just forgot. He has the ultimate cut of Revenge of the Sith. That ties in the final arc of the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, which I didn't see because I swore off the mouse.
I know. He swore off the mouse.
But it's Dave Filoni, right?
It's Dave Filoni. Yeah, no. And it's the thing. It's the Siege of Mandalore. So you literally have the final arc and the Siege of Mandalore like intertwined into the Revenge of the Sith, and you watch while Order 66 is happening. You watch Ahsoka and Rex take on the clones that she's traveling with. It's a whole thing. It's just insane.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, like, you get to watch this from a Padawan's past memories perspective.
Yeah.
And it's just such a good game. Like, you know this. But folks, if you can go and play Jedi Fallen Order, we're just like promoting everything at this point.
That's right.
If you can go and play Jedi Fallen Order, even if you'd like, I don't like running around and doing an adventure game, which, okay, but it's a phenomenal story as well.
Hey, some people be like that.
Hey, that's
like
okay.
That.
No, that's
I ain't
okay.
like that.
If you don't like that, that's okay. But I would encourage you to even just go watch the clips, the cutscenes on YouTube.
Oh, it's
because
so good.
It in itself is a phenomenal movie about getting through trauma. Like,
True.
it would be a phenomenal movie of getting through trauma and proceeding through barriers of hurt and pain and that kind of like mindset.
And it's a challenge of a game too.
It really is.
It's not easy.
No, it's not like Force Unleashed.
Or, yeah, that was just slaughter people.
Where you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna whoomp.
That's right. But Dave, John, if you're listening,
We love you.
heart you.
Amazing.
Second most anticipated video game for me. It's another AAA giant game that everybody is hype about. Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, did you see the thing about executions?
No.
Oh my gosh, they're including executions in the game. So like
a guillotine execution,
no,
or like
more like finisher moves.
Oh my god.
So I saw this clip, and this dude just picks up this person, and he goes, foom, 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 and the guy, like, hits the ground, and you just watch all of his health bar just go out. And I'm like,
jeez.
Well, I was like, I didn't know wizards were that, like, violent, but okay.
Well, and what I am very glad about is it's not trying to make Harry Potter the central bit of the video game, because he's not a part of it.
I don't want it.
Of course not. No, but it's I believe it's set in the 1920s. It's set in
early enough,
or in the 1800s or something. It's set in a period of time where dark wizards are still a problem, and you get to take on the role of either a dark wizard or a good wizard.
Oh, 1800s.
1800s. Okay,
yep.
So 1890s. You follow a student starting at Hogwarts in his 5th year, and as the player is starting at the school later on than other students, a wizard field guide is given by the Ministry of Magic, blah, 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 blah. You get to choose whether you want to be a dark wizard or stay a good wizard.
Did you see the company that's making this game? It's called Portkey Games.
Oh, that's cool. So hopefully we're getting more Harry Potter Wizarding World themed games.
Hopefully.
Because it is an untapped market.
It really is. And that's the thing is, I think Warner Brothers Discovery in the last few months has, like, they've been talking. I've been hearing some stuff. I have no affiliation with them. Sorry, I moved away from the mic.
But a sponsorship is definitely welcome.
But a sponsorship is definitely welcome. No, I don't have any affiliation. There's just some people that I kind of keep up with who kind of, relay some information every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But they've apparently been really looking into the Lord of the Rings and what they can do with that, as well as Harry Potter, and what can we do with that world that isn't Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. The second part of the Wizarding World, the movie trilogy. That's not Fantastic Beasts. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fantastic Beasts. And so, like, they're looking into how do we use this, because the property we have, but we haven't used it for anything since we finished. Which I'm hoping they're not like, let's just restart with Harry Potter. It's like, no, guys, don't do that to our boy Dan. Danny boy just doesn't need to lose that just yet.
Danny boy,
but I think that's a very valid anticipated game, because it looks super cool.
It does, and it's so the Harry Potter games we got were PlayStation 2 and Game Boy, GameCube. They were very old. They were fun at the time. They have not stood the test of time. The only Harry Potter game that I think has stood the test of time that is still a joy to play is Harry Potter Quidditch for the GameCube or the PS2. That is some of the most phenomenal sports.
Does it play like FIFA?
It's FIFA from the early 2000s.
I was just kidding.
No,
but okay.
it's FIFA from the early 2000s. It's probably the same style, but it's cartoony, right?
Okay.
But it's all Quidditch. But it goes into it takes the FIFA element of national teams, and you get to, you don't just play Gryffindor versus Slytherin the whole time. You play
I hate Slytherin.
Right. You play the Irish versus Durmstrang. You play Bulgaria versus, you play all these different nations. But anyway, Hogwarts Legacy, highly anticipated.
Something
for
I
me.
really want to ask you now then.
Yeah.
What is your house? What house are you?
What is my house? Really good friend of mine and I had this conversation when we first met. Very fun conversation. Turns out we were the same house. Gryffindor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm lame, but I actually thought she was Ravenclaw when we first met. So,
Okay.
but yes, Gryffindor. What about you?
I'm actually a Hufflepuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to be a Gryffindor.
you are such a Hufflepuff.
Hey, I'm such a Hufflepuff.
Yeah,
Dude.
that launches into a whole different conversation. But Nick, what else in the world of pop culture are you most looking forward to in 2023?
Oh my gosh.
With the last few minutes we have.
Something, just a real quick, look at what we've got coming out in the world. I mean, so right now we've got Vox Machina, the TV show on Amazon Prime, based off of a D&D campaign from Critical Role.
And for those that don't know, Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons campaign from a group called Critical Role. These guys are all voice actors who have been doing. They're on their third campaign now, and they just do a YouTube stream every Thursday. And it's incredible. They tell stories so well because you get to do a story together.
Yep.
And you get to do it as characters that you love and you've created. And Matt Mercer does a phenomenal job crafting enemies and story that just intertwines phenomenally. And so honestly, if you can go check it out, it's a little. If I would suggest that you be over 18 if you're going to check it out. It is a more mature series.
Yeah.
But it is phenomenal. It has some iffy humor, but you know what? I'll let you have your discretion with that.
Right.
But it's a phenomenal show. They actually just announced, I think 2 days ago, they're going to be also animating their second campaign called The Mighty Nine as well.
Oh.
Amazon, and there's a first look at all, I think it's all movies or deals and things coming out of that IP.
Yeah.
So Amazon gets a first look at all of that.
That's
so
cool.
That's coming out. We've got
Good.
Rebel Moon with Zack Snyder coming out on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The Star Wars.
Yeah.
That was not to be.
But I'm so excited to see what happens. I'm so excited to see what happens.
Second season of Invincible.
Second season of Invincible. I think he said late 2023 is the announcement.
Okay.
We've got a number of different things. There's, right now, Nightwing in DC Comics. I'm just saying, the Nightwing run, phenomenal. Tom Taylor's doing a great job.
If you take a look at the logo sometime, that's Nightwing up there on the top of the skyscraper.
My boy Dick Grayson.
That's right. Dick Grayson, Nick's favorite
superhero.
That's right.
Honestly, him and Ben Reilly. And, if you don't know who Ben Reilly is, go check out the Clone Saga of Spider-Man. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've got that coming out. We've got, there's just a lot. Right
There's
now,
a lot going
HBO
on.
Max has The Last of Us TV series.
Yes.
Oh my, if you've got some time and you want to watch a show, if you like zombie shows and you want to watch some drama, go watch The Last of Us. It's a phenomenal zombie show, but it kind of it terrifies you because it does something different with the zombie genre.
Yeah.
And so honestly, I personally would recommend it. All I've heard is it's a phenomenal one-to-one adaptation of the video game The Last of Us.
Yeah, and they put people on TikTok are putting those two things side by side just to see how on point they are. And I actually recently saw a statistic that sales for the Last of Us video game went up by 330% since the show has come out. And talk about a return on your investment.
Yeah.
Not just that a bunch of people are watching it, but that now
They're
people
buying
are
the
going
game.
back to the game.
Yeah.
And some playing the game for the first time. And The Last of Us is a game that stands the test of time.
Oh, 100%.
Graphically, story-wise, just everything. It's just wonderful.
Well, and a lot of people, they were disappointed with the second one. And so, a lot of them, from what I've understood, is they're going back to the first one because they loved the story so much. They're the gameplay for the second is phenomenal still. They just weren't super happy with the direction they went.
Yeah.
And so they decided to go back to the first one and get it for the new console. And
and they really should have probably, and I don't know if they did it. I don't think they did because I probably would have heard about it, but they should have taken The Last of Us and given it a similar treatment to what The Witcher 3 had happened. A next-gen update for The Last of Us that just totally reinvents the graphics and doesn't do anything to the main gameplay.
Give it a couple years.
Yeah, and they will miss the hype and all that. But The Witcher 3 also did the same thing. Henry Cavill's Witcher came out.
Oh my gosh!
And then eventually the update rolled out.
That's my last thing. I don't really know if it won't happen in 20. Oh my gosh! There's so much, guys. There's so much happening in 2023. I can't cover all of it right now, but. Reminder, Percy Jackson series coming out on Disney+. We've got Avatar: The Last Airbender coming out on Netflix.
Chronicles of Narnia series. We've got a number of things coming out, whether it's comic books, video games, movies, TV shows. Lots going on.
Tabletop RPGs.
Yeah, and you know what? If you want to have entertainment, if you want to be, informed about what's going on, if you want to just listen to some fun jokes and cool information from movies
Random
and stuff. Just in the background as you're doing whatever, come listen to Popculture Pulpit.
We've got you here.
We do. And Nick, we didn't really talk about how we're going to end the show, but I think, why don't we just exchange some movie quotes and just see...
Ooh,
so Nick, as we end this podcast, all I got to say is, that'll do, pig. That'll do. From the classic Babe, 1995.
Tyler, all I've got to say is Excelsior.
That's good. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.